Simulation games and simulators are different. These today are going to be realistic sims meant to be as close to real life as possible, but it's such an unpredictable subgenre, so instead of upcoming games, I've got the best and most successful fully released sims that are new from the last 2 years, with user reviews over 75% positive. New simulator games that you can play to completion right now. But will you want to live any of them? Let's find out. Taking off in the real world, House Flipper 2. This is a simulator that is all about taking a dilapidated, run-down structure and giving it that new coat of paint. Quite literally. You'll be going into these old homes or just completely trashed buildings, and you'll be building and wiring and painting and decorating and doing everything it takes to make it spick and span, and then you get to profit off of your work. You can make a fortune helping out the community of the charming town of Pinnacove by just turning these unwanted buildings into gems of real estate. I mean, simulators are pretty self-explanatory. They are like their real-world equivalents in terms of jobs or activities, and House Flipper 2 is like that. You can build structures basically from ground up if you want to do that, from the foundation to the roof, to the garden, to everything. Or you can be just taking the old buildings and turning it into something that might be surprisingly beautiful. You find that structure where the bones are good. It's got good bones, they say. You do work on top of all of that to make it look actually nice. Now, this is supposed to be an improvement over the original game, but you do have the basics. The hammer, the paint roller, the sturdy mop all await your return. There's better graphics in this sequel, and there's a lot of room for creativity. There's the sandbox mode, which you can use to recreate real-life buildings or design projects that exist in your imagination, but it is much harder building a structure from scratch rather than fixing up an existing building. Now, besides the actual house construction and renovating, there is actually a kind of a story. You might be able to discover a number of these stories within the walls of the structures you'll be working on. And your old pal Tom seems to know everyone in the neighborhood and will share the local lore and knowledge with you. So generally, if you're looking for some building and decorating, then House Flipper 2 is gonna be for you. It released right at the end of 2023 to quite a few thousand, mostly positive user reviews on Steam. Overall, about 77%, but it's floating just under the 80% mark. People are loving House Flipper 2. And it's still continuing to get more updates as they go into 2024, so you can get to building in House Flipper 2 right now. And then for today's sponsor, Train Sim World 4. For the train game fan, click the link below to check it out. Here you play a train driver and level up as you manage your rails. And if you've ever played earlier Train Sim World games, then a lot of stuff will transfer over, like old content and your driver progress. You can just bring that with you. In this one, you'll get a lot of routes over many countries, plenty of locomotives and add-ons, livery designer and scenario planners. There's a free roam and sandbox mode, a route creator, mastery challenges, along with a community of creators making custom content for you to explore is always a nice bonus. I know train game fans get ravenous for more content, so user-generated stuff is really important to keep the game going. Don't worry about train variety either. There's commuter trains, famous well-known ones, steam, electric, and even the Flying Scotsman is there to celebrate its 100th anniversary. It doesn't hurt that the game also looks pretty good visually. I mean, I think scenery is half the point of a train sim, or is that just me? Now, this one did release towards the end of 2023 to a good number of user reviews on Steam, overall at 76%, but the recent ones are at 84%, so the game does seem to be getting better as time goes on. There is a spring update as well. If you want to get it, there is the deluxe edition, because that will include all the extra content that you want. And it's on Steam, Epic, PlayStation, and Xbox. As always, have a look at the user reviews to see what people are saying and click the link below to have a closer look at Train Sim World 4. for a big cathartic success, PowerWash Simulator. That's right, this is all about power washing, but there's more than you would expect. In PowerWash Simulator, you'll be washing away your worries with the soothing sounds of a high-pressure washer. You fire up your power washer and blast away every speck of dirt, grime, and stain that you can find. I mean, it's a simple idea, and power washing is just one of those satisfying things. I mean, there are just YouTube channels dedicated to showing off power washing videos, where you clean up the stairs or the floor or the walls of a building. But PowerWash Simulator has sort of gone above and beyond with what you would expect. I mean, one of the more recent updates adding in Warhammer 40k stuff, which is you're going in and power washing in the Warhammer 40k universe. And that's something that I would not have predicted, but you know what? That's kind of what these simulator games need, a bit of whimsy. And maybe I wouldn't say Warhammer 40k is a whimsical universe, but it being in PowerWash Simulator is a bit of whimsy. You'll be cleaning up the neighborhood. There's sort of a business, there's a career mode, but of course you can just relax and unwind. You can play with friends in online co-op with up to 6 players. And there's challenge modes and scenarios where you can race against the clock. And of course, you will be cleaning all sorts of things: graffiti, grime, moss, mold, dirt, stains. There's a whole range of washers and nozzles and cleaners and extensions. There's everything you could possibly want in a power wash simulator. Anyway, this one did release in the middle of 2022, so just under 2 years ago at the time of making this video, and it went kind of viral. It's got overwhelmingly positive user reviews, 97% positive. So, you know, PowerWash Simulator, if you're looking for just a realistic simulator, then this one has been a popular one. For something very different, Thief Simulator 2. This one is a simulator where you are a thief. You pick up the career of a robber, and you have your crowbar and you break the locks to force your way into buildings where you learn skills, collect tools, and become a master of the thieving trade. So I wouldn't call this a Tycoon game, but it is kind of a business, and you'll be stealing everything from valuables, expensive cars, or even just banknotes out of a safe. You need to figure out where the thing you want to steal is, and then you need to successfully sneak, break in, and steal the thing without getting caught. Which you'll do better and better over time with new skills and equipment. And once you steal your scores, you'll be selling them on the black market, which then you'll use the money to improve yourself even more. You have to be quick and efficient. There's 2 neighborhoods with over 20 houses to break into, and you need to learn the people's routines to be able to avoid being caught and being seen. There's a number of heists to go on. There's timed challenges, many contracts that you can pick up to steal unique items. And if you do get caught or seen, then you will have to escape the police. Otherwise, you might end up in not such a great situation. So this one released again towards the end of 2023 to very positive user reviews on Steam, over 90% positive. So it's one of these, you know, with simulators, you never quite know which ones are gonna work and which ones are not. They just pick a random theme or a job or a profession. And sometimes they become some of the biggest games in the world, and other times they just fall flat. That's why I don't really want to do upcoming simulators, because who knows what's gonna work. But this one did apparently work, Thief Simulator 2. You can have a look at it right now. And it's continuing to get updates into the new year, so feel free to get your thieving on. Hey, now that you're a bit into the list, I'm sure you're enjoying it, so it would be greatly appreciated if you can like the video. Thank you! Alright, next game. Being on the other foot, Contraband Police. You take over the duties of a border guard inspector in a communist country in the 80s. Smuggling, corruption, and forgery are the order of the day here, so you have to be vigilant and make sure you only let in those who should be let in, but also you must earn the respect of your superiors. You start as a young officer trainee and you're assigned to work at a border post in a mountainous region. You're going about your usual border job, but then one of your comrades is killed in one of the interventions, so things get pretty serious in this one. You'll need to poke and prod to see if people's documents and vehicles are all in order, that nothing is hidden under the seats or in the wheels, in the back, under the vehicle. They can get pretty creative in terms of where things are hidden. You must also check their documents, make sure everything is valid and correct. So think sort of Papers, Please, but maybe a bit more thorough and more simulator. But things can get a bit out of hand. Shootouts can happen if you catch things or they catch you, or just things don't go according to plan. Things can heat up pretty quick. And there are police chases as well, because some people might just run the border, so you gotta get into your vehicle and run them off the road to stop them from getting through. And as you go through the game, you'll be managing your post. You'll upgrade your police station, increasing its defenses, which will improve subsequent inspections. Having more stuff means higher maintenance costs, so you have to kind of balance your finances to make sure that you're investing in the right areas of border control. Now, this one did release earlier on in 2023 to overwhelmingly positive reviews, 95% positive, and there is also a free demo, which is even better. So if you're not too sure about Contraband Police and you want to see whether it's really for you first, you can try the free demo and then see if you like it as much as everyone else. Next up, we've got Construction Simulator. This one is larger and more impressive than ever. You fulfill your ambition to become a successful construction entrepreneur by establishing your business from scratch, assisted by your mentor, Hope. So obviously this one is all about constructing buildings, not quite like House Flipper, but it is more the actual construction business. You start your business on 2 individual maps inspired by landscapes in the USA and Germany, and each campaign offers varying stuff. You have to climb the ladder of success, and overall you need to contribute to the design of renewable energy solutions and enhance local urban infrastructure to really sort of build the future-ish and make money while doing it. You'll have a fleet of vehicles and over 80 machines from official licensing partners, because that's one important thing with simulators, where the vehicles and the brands are actually accurate to real-life things. So I'm not a particular construction expert, but some of these names would ring a bell for some of you. Caterpillar, I know that one. Case, Bobcat, Liebherr, MAN, Mack Trucks. You'd know what those are if you're into this. And updates continue to come for this game. They keep adding more vehicles, more stuff, more things to build. There's multiplayer mode, where you can build with up to 3 friends. And it's just construction galore. So this one released towards the end of 2022 to very positive user reviews, over 80%. Recent ones at 87%, so people are really liking it. Updates continue to come. That's what Construction Simulator is. For a more unexpected success, Ship Graveyard Simulator 2. You know, I was saying earlier that you never know what's actually gonna work. Ship Graveyard Simulator 2? Well, apparently, yes. This one, you grab your torch and hammer and you get back to work because you have a new job to do. You visit a beach coast with the largest, biggest ship graveyard in the world, and you dismantle huge ship parts and collect tons of precious steel. So you have to work hard to salvage all of this stuff. And there's even things like radiation and dangers, and so you have to kind of sort of survive as well. So yeah, you're a salvaging business, specifically on giant ships. And you'll even need a special crane and a large container to pick up and grab everything. But eventually you're just going to be tearing down these ships into parts. Steel, aluminium, copper parts, they all have their value. But destruction is really the name of the game. So you're not building up in this simulator, you are tearing things down. But yeah, I did mention dangers. There's toxins, there's electric shocks, gas leakage, radiation, poison. You really have to watch your step in these derelicts. And this one is also continuing to be updated. There's a beta of a co-op mode right now. So they are working on multiplayer and it seems to be going on okay. DLC is being released and updates as well. This one released towards the end of 2023 to very positive user reviews on Steam. People are liking it. And the new co-op modes, I think it's really nice when co-op and multiplayer is added into these simulators because there's a pretty big community of fans for simulators, and they often have friends. So it's nice to get your friends into these things, and especially when it's something that's a bit more tear-downy. You can both go in and just start tearing things apart, salvaging what you can, working together to break down these large behemoth derelicts into tiny little parts to make a profit. And yeah, you can do that in Ship Graveyard Simulator 2. Now, for the most cautionary success, I would put a question mark on this list: Parking Tycoon Business Simulator. This one is all about being a parking tycoon manager. You run a car park, which you can expand and clean and manage, and you collect the parking fees, and you make sure things are safe. People don't steal tires off of your customers. You stop people spraying graffiti, and you eventually make enough money to expand your car park, to expand in terms of size and add new floors, and generally you run a car park. It's a car park business simulator. And it was going pretty well, but user reviews have sort of started to change because this one released at the end of 2023 in November, and at the time it was getting 75-80% positive user reviews, but then it sort of released and it's not quite agreed upon whether it is finished. A number of the user reviews do say that it's not quite finished. The last update at the time of recording this was in December, so it's been a few months since the last update, and it's unclear whether another update will be coming and in the future. So with many of these simulators still being updated, it's kind of more exciting when you know more content is coming, even if it's DLC or expansions. But as it stands, people did enjoy Parking Tycoon Business Simulator. So it might be stalled right now, but it might still be worth checking out. So you can have a closer look at Parking Tycoon and see if it's actually in a state that you want to jump into right now and that you can enjoy right now. But I do want to be a little bit cautious with this one. However, it is still a relative success at the time of making this video. And then Ranch Simulator, Build, Farm, Hunt. I'm never a fan of putting keywords in the names of games, but sure, that's what you do in this game. You will be setting up a farm, like a whole farm, with everything that a farm would entail. Planting crops, building farmhouses, animal husbandry, livestock, bringing your stuff to the shops to sell it, buying vehicles and tractors, and going out and hunting and completing quests with the NPCs around town. You know, you do pretty much everything in this open world farm life simulator kind of game. And it is also multiplayer. I've seen quite a bit of footage of this one, and you can jump in with friends and just build this farm to your heart's content. There's a lot to do in this one. Building things from the ground up, tearing down a dilapidated building. You have to manage everything because your animals could die or your crops could die, and you have to do everything required, which is what a simulator is about. And you have to make sure you don't get eaten by wolves as well, because that's kind of a problem. You are out in the wilderness in this one. All to try and become the most prosperous ranch in the valley. Well, this one did release towards the end of 2023 to many user reviews, very positive, of over 80% positive. And it is continuing to get updates. There's a new cats and dogs update. That's always a good one. So it did fully release in 2023 and it's continuing to get more content being updated and pushed into the game. Ranch Simulator, Build, Farm, Hunt. It is a clear success. So if you're looking for a new farming simulator, not a simulation game, a farming simulator, then Ranch Simulator should be for you. There you have it. Press the like button and get games using the GOG Referral Link below to support videos like this one. Just click the link and buy any game, it really does help. Thank you to all the patrons and YouTube members who really support this channel and keeping videos like these being made. Join if you want your name on future videos. If you want to stay in the know for another genre, go to the next list video linked on screen, as I'm sure realistic simulator fans like yourself would not want to miss all the other amazing simulation and city building games in the other lists. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.